Join us on the show right now, the sheriff in Pinal County, Arizona, Sheriff Paul Babeu. And Sheriff, thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program tonight.
You got it, Kim. Glad to be on.
It was great talking to you again. Fantastic seeing you in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the NRA annual meeting, by the way. You really, I can't tell you how well received your speech was, although I'm sure you heard that from a lot of the NRA members.
Well, we're telling the truth and standing up for America, and it shouldn't be a novel concept to support the rule of law and protecting America first, rather than having a president run around the globe apologizing for America and who we are and shouting us down to believe that somehow we're being un-American by not wanting to give citizenship to people who break our laws and come here illegally.
Yeah, and so to that end, President Obama, and what I think was a campaign spot, or a campaign stop rather than a actual presidential visit to the border, went down to El Paso, Texas earlier this week. One of the things that he said was that the fence is basically complete, Sheriff. That we need to quit talking about the need to secure the border because the border is basically secure already.
Well, I never thought in a million years. I served 20 years in the military and the Army National Guard, served our country in Iraq, commanded soldiers on our southern border in Yuma, in the Yuma sector as the task force commander. Never thought I'd actually say the president of our nation is a liar, but that's a bold-faced lie. And I can tell you as a combat engineer that I helped build fence north of Tijuana, south of San Diego, and now being the president of the Arizona Sheriff's Association, that the fence is not completed. In fact, this president stopped the construction of the double barrier fence. 219,000 illegals have come through in Arizona alone. The Border Patrol admits that double that number got through undetected. So how in the world can he and Jen Napolitano, Eric Holder say our border is more secure than ever? It's not. And this is outrageous that the leaders of our own country have actively fought us in Arizona from enforcing the law. Mm-hmm. We've asked for help to secure the border and to protect our citizens, the core enumerated responsibility in our Constitution that the federal government has. They get into every other aspect of our life and owning banks, the insurance, the auto industry, and now Obamacare, and they're not doing their job. And this is unacceptable.
You know, one of the other things that President Obama said in El Paso, he said, some of the media talk about the violence on the border, but I'm here to tell you that we're standing here one of the safest cities. And he was right. El Paso is one of the safest cities in the United States, but right across the border is Juarez, which is one of the most dangerous cities in Mexico.
In the world.
In the world. And when you talk, he loves to blame the violence in Mexico on our gun laws, but there's a perfect, striking example, Sheriff. In Texas, in El Paso, you've got what you and I would consider to be pretty good gun laws, and it's one of the safest cities in the United States. Right across the border in Juarez, and the only thing separating is the Rio Grande. If you want to be a gun owner, you got to get permission from the federal government. You got to go to the one gun store in the country in Mexico City where they'll maybe let you get a .22 caliber rifle or maybe a .38 caliber revolver. And it's one of the most violent cities in the world. Why on earth are we still blaming our gun laws and saying that we're the problem here?
Yeah, I've had enough of that nonsense, and I reject Napolitano, Eric Holder, the presidents, all of their blame America first for everybody else's problems. We're the most generous nation defending freedom for other countries, laying the lives of our soldiers on the line all the time, and we're not to blame. What about standing up for America and our rights rather than to shout us down? Why wasn't the president out in Arizona, in my county, the number one county for drug and human smuggling pass-through in the entire country? Mm-hmm. And this is where the problem is very severe, and yet the president actually jokes and actually talks about these people, meaning me and all other freedom-loving patriots that want to enforce the rule of law, saying that we'll never be satisfied. And he's right. We're not satisfied until we secure our border and defend America. And he started to joke and say that these people will never be satisfied until we build a moat. and then add crocodiles in there, and
Yeah.
he starts laughing. Well, this is so insulting to my citizens and the people, not only in Arizona, but the people across our great country, that our own president, who has villainized the good men and women who serve in law enforcement as somehow we're the racial profilers and we're the ones that are the bad guys, and it is our job to enforce the law. And we're tired of being attacked by the leader of our own country, and we're not going to stand for this. We're not going to be shouted down by him and all of his buddies in Washington.
Do you think, Sheriff, that the American people have a good idea of what is actually happening on our border?
I do, and this is where it's not just a concern about illegal immigration any longer. It's we live in a post 9/11 world. If the overwhelming majority of simple illegals can make it through Arizona undetected, what does this say to all of us who have an understanding of tactics and gun ownership? I'm a life member of the NRA. Some of us who have military experience. What does it say about people who may have military training or knowledge, or a possible terrorist cell for their ability to sneak through our unsecured border? Obviously, it's pretty great, and this is why I believe our federal government has failed in their responsibility to protect America. Having served in Iraq, I can tell you that a far graver national security threat is right here in our unsecured border, not because of Mexico. Mexico is not our enemy. The people of Mexico are not our enemy. In fact, they're our second largest trading partner. The enemy is the cartels. The enemy of Mexico is the cartels. The enemy of the United States are the cartels. We have mountains from Mexico in through my county, as few as 75, as many as 100. Just in one smuggling route, those mountains have been repurposed as lookouts or scout locations for the cartels to ensure safe passage of their drug movements. This is unacceptable that we've arrived at this point in America, that our federal government and our president jokes about the border secured, the fences built, which is a lie, and jokes about this problem when I have citizens 70 miles north of the Mexican border who don't feel safe in their own homes, don't feel free in their own country, and the president just ignores this. This is his core job, and now it's become the job of the local sheriff to protect not only our citizens, as I'm sworn to do, but to fight foreign criminals, a foreign threat. This is unacceptable that we've gotten to this place.
Sheriff, when you hear about the ATF Operation Fast and Furious allegations that the ATF and perhaps DOJ, it seems like we're certainly aware of this program allowing these guns to be walked across the border into Mexico and into the hands of the drug cartels, and then you hear the president say that he's gotten serious about border issues and border security. He talks about the number of firearms seized going up. I mean, what if you could have 5 minutes with the president? What would you tell him? What would you look him in the eye and say to him?
First thing I'd say, his what he has been saying and the policies of this government, it's a joke. The fact that literally this government has allowed thousands of weapons from the United States under Operation this whole gun walker to go south into Mexico with the full knowledge of our government is outrageous, and into the hands of the cartels that my deputies are fighting. And my deputies, as I said at the NRA speech, do their job as all our law enforcement in America who are proud to serve our citizens without complaint. And we're not against immigration. We're against illegal immigration. And this is where we've got to stand up in America for our liberties, for our rights, and say enough. This shall not be the future of our great country, for not just our children and our grandchildren, but for us. That throughout our history, patriots would stand up, and that's average men and women like you and I. You don't have to be the sheriff or congressman or the governor. of a state, the most powerful position in our republic is that of private citizen. And I encourage all of our citizens to stand up with me shoulder to shoulder and defend our country, our liberties right here at home, because this is what's at stake. When our government is going in the wrong direction, away from the liberties that are guaranteed in our Constitution, but our federal government's becoming far too powerful, getting into areas of our life that they should not be into, taking further powers away from our states and states' rights, and this is against our Constitution.
Absolutely. Well, Sheriff, sir, again, it is always such an honor getting a chance to talk with you. Appreciate. I know how busy an individual you are, so I appreciate you taking some time to talk with us tonight.
Honor. It's my honor, Cam. And if people can support us on sheriffpaul.com, that would be fantastic.
All right, Sheriff. Thank you again, sir. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Thanks, Cam.
Sheriff Paul Babeu joined us from Pinal County, Arizona.